when buying a property, not only in Dubai but all over the world, location is a bonus and not the only justification. In other words, you shouldn't buy a property just because of the location. There are so many other things to consider. You will have to evaluate your investment with data-driven numbers. In other words, you start with the numbers and you look at the location later. So I've established some few points here that I think you can use it as a benchmark to vet, right, the effectiveness of your investment. The first thing we'll have to look at will be the target net yield and the cash flow. For every investment, the goal of every investment is to generate income. So, which is one of them, which is cash flow. Now, how do you calculate the cash flow? You will take the rent, right, subtract it by the service charge and divide it by the property price. What is the property price? Is the combination of the purchase price plus the 4% for the Dubai Land Department and $1,000 for the admin fee. Now, if when doing that calculation, if you get a percentage of 6% and above, it is considered as a benchmark for a good investment. Why? Because with that, you are able to cover for your mortgages, vacancy loss, as well as other expenses. The next thing we'll have to look at will be the acceptable service charge and other expenses and see the impact on your investment. Why is that important? Service charge, for example, has a huge impact on your investment. So when buying a property, you will ask the developer, what is a service charge for my unit? Generally, the service charge is paid quarterly in Dubai. So you have to check that aspect when investing. The next thing you will need to do is to check the growth assumption. What do I mean by growth assumption? Capital appreciation, the appreciation of your unit, as well as its relevance within the market in the long run. Not every property in Dubai will remain relevant forever. The relevance of a property is attached to its connectivity to the vision of the government, in this case being Dubai. So does your property align to the D33 economic agenda or the Urban Master Plan, the 2040? The fourth thing will be to consider your holding period. Personally, I advise my investors not to invest with the mindset of quick flipping. You have to look at the long term. So we will take a case study on the impact of the service charge on your investment. So let's say we are looking at two sectors here. We are looking at the gross rental yield and the net rental yield. How do you calculate this? So to calculate the gross rental yield, it will be your rent divided by the purchase price, which is the property price plus the 4%, the DLD, and the $1,000 admin fee. So you will get something, let's say you will get something ranging from 10 to 12%. Now, if you want to calculate the net rental yield, you will have to include the service charge and other expenses. So how do you calculate that? You will take the rent, subtract it by the service charge plus other expenses, and divide it by the property or the purchase price, which is a combination of all three factors. And so that's where you will get your rental yield. Now, if that extra expenses, which is a service charge and all that, accounts for 4%, for example, of the revenue, you will see that your net yield will drop down, right, between 6 to 8%. So this is just to show the impact of that rental yield.